Oops.
My girlfriend and I went and saw some more apartments.
Dude, everyone's loving this.
Once again, took some edibles. Same amount. It wasn't a ton this time. Or either time. I think I made a joke in the tweet about going up to 30 milligrams. That wasn't true.
How many did you actually take?
I think we took
10?
like 6 to 10.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
That would make me immediately begin having paranoia.
It turns
missing my parents.
Oh.
Missing my parents, thinking about mortality immediately.
Oh God, dude.
I know.
Maybe if you'd been on the apartment tour though, it would have focused your mind elsewhere.
No, I would have been like, man, this apartment's so great, but the time I can actually afford when my parents won't even be able to come visit me because I'm serious. That would be my thought process immediately, dude. Somehow everything ties into my parents. It's crazy.
It's so bad that your brain resorts to that, or
Dude,
I
was watching Chef's Table High the other day and really enjoying it, and then all of a sudden the guy started being like, and then my father left us, and immediately I started spiraling.
Oh God, dude.
It's the best show. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue.
No, that's okay. It's fine. See, we interrupt each other all the time. It's all good. So we go. The reason we went back on Friday, we went on Wednesday. I told that story on the podcast. It was such a fun thing. I would strongly recommend. By the way, go look at apartments that you're to buy. By the way, I don't think you should do this for rentals, because if you're going to buy, then you can have honest conversations with the agents about how you would theoretically resurface the kitchen counter or what you would do to change the bathroom. You can talk about major life changes and create architecturally your own perfect apartment in that moment with experts nearby.
So do they ask you for like a due diligence check for your bank account?
I'm so glad you brought this up. No.
Because in New York, they do sometimes.
I think they do. But the fact that they don't is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous how much you can waste people's time. How you can just waste time.
That's funny.
For people in their jobs.
That's really funny.
They spend hours escorting us around. Now, I can't say that we're wasting their time, because yes, in theory, we may end up buying an apartment in Maine. I don't know.
Right. There's much bigger time wasters than you.
It's not a total fallacy.
Totally.
That we are doing this. However, we could go somewhere. I'm not sure where, maybe not New York, but we could go look at like $25 million apartments, $100 million apartments. Just get tours.
Right.
And who's to say? Maybe we would need to dress a little better or have some kind of backstory. I don't know. But we didn't have to produce any paperwork.
Right.
We didn't have to say we're in this range. You know what I mean? So
totally.
Anybody can do this.
Right.
Okay. So we go, and the reason we went again on Friday was that on the Wednesday showing that we did, we saw 2 apartments, and we also went into an office that had a big project that was under development.
Okay.
It's currently being built. And so on Friday, they only showed us blueprints on Wednesday. They were we were in the office, they were showing us the designs, the outlook, whatever, the prices. And then on Friday, we got to tour the construction site.
Oh.
Which was cool, because in order to get in, they had to lift this fence.
Do you have to wear hard hats?
I wanted to so badly, and they didn't give us hard hats.
Yeah, that would have been a nice gram.
It just makes you feel like a real man, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're starting a business.
It does.
Yeah.
And I love that look of like the guy who's in his business attire, but also wearing a hard hat.
I love that look too.
It's a great look.
I love that look on the brochure. Someone running for Congress.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
in an ad for a guy running for Congress.
He cares about work. Francis Ellis cares about the workers.
His tie is in place. He's always like going over a clipboard with someone else. Like, what are you? And you know they're not talking about anything. Some gay congressman trying to prove. You know what I mean? It's like the first openly gay guy to run.
Trying to prove that he
Weymouth County, Missouri.
Totally.
Yeah. He's doing he's operating the backhoe. You know. So okay. And the reason, by the way, I want to come back to that openly gay thing, because there's a mayor in Massachusetts who is running for a congressional seat, and I think he's also a faculty member at UMass Amherst who just got in huge trouble for DMing students.
Oh wow!
And he's gay,
wow.
male students. Anyway, I want to come back to that.
Okay.
back to the construction site. We go into the construction site. We're there with one of the builders, one of the head builders, as well as one of the real estate agents from the firm, as well as our buyer's agent. And we're walking through all of these apartments, but they don't have walls.
Right. There's just renderings and pictures.
Yeah, and it's like steel and cables, and you really have to like envision how it's going to look. And a lot of the windows aren't in place, so you're just looking under a flap and you see, how big the window will be. But it's fun.
That is fun.
It's fun to see the bones of an apartment.
Wow.
And they're telling you, like, this is why we did this. This is why we chose these cables, this, that. And you start to feel like, oh, this is actually, they cared.
Right.
We're not getting fucked because they cut a corner by choosing shittier materials for this.
Right.
Now, at the same time, I don't know anything about building.
That's what I was going to say. You don't even know about what the materials
could be singing me a totally different song.
Totally.
But it was still fun. It was really fun. And dude, there was one guy who bought, like, there's 3 penthouse apartments, and 2 of them have already sold.
Oh, wow.
And one guy combined 2 of them into this enormous apartment with a full view of Casco Bay and in Portland, and it's just like the most stunning thing ever.
Sick.
And I was like, God, this guy is such a baller. Like, what did he pay for this? And they were like, oh, well, he really shelled out, and this is going to be like a 4-bedroom, 3,500 square feet, 2 massive roof decks, massive apartment. What do you think? One of the most expensive apartments in Portland. What do you think this thing costs?
$1.5 million. Is it more?
$3 million.
All right. But still, like, that's still in New York, dude, that's $40 million.
No, it would have been a $40 million apartment in New York City.
Sorry for underguessing.
Depending on, don't you hate it when someone does that?
I didn't mean to do it.
$6? This isn't The Price is Right, Giulio.
I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to do it. But yes, the comparison is still worth making. Like, that apartment's huge.
Don't you hate it when someone's answer is like, well, given that you're acting surprised with the question, I'm gonna have to shoot lower.
Yeah. It's especially annoying when you got a good deal. You're like, guess how much I paid for it? They're like, I don't know, $50, and you're like,
yeah, no, you fucking asshole. Unrealistic dick. No, but 1.5 actually isn't a bad guess. It was $3 million, I think, for the full apartment. But which is definitely a lot.
Penthouses.
It's 2 penthouses scrammed together, and it's one of the most expensive apartments probably ever sold in Portland, Maine, which is, by the way, a burgeoning, hot city and
nicest apartment building in the nicest city in the state.
Exactly, and it's $3 million, which in New York City would buy you a 2-bedroom, good apartment in the West Village, but certainly not a penthouse with 2 decks.
Oh, yeah.
That has 4 bedrooms and could be lived in as a true home for a massive family.
100%. And like, not only that, like, you're going to have to like kick people out of your doorway.
Yeah.
And like, you're really slumming it with a $3 million apartment.
Oh, yeah.
You're middle class with a $3 million apartment in New York.
Right.
Sadly.
So,
which makes me a peasant.
Yeah.
Please give me money.
The thing that was funny was that halfway through, we saw like 6 apartments in this construction site, and we got to walk through them all, which was really cool. And halfway through, the edibles started kicking in again. Mm-hmm. And that's when, this time, I started becoming a comedian.
Ah.
And I'm just like telling jokes, about like, and reacting to the stuff they're saying, and everyone's laughing. But like most of the people there don't know that I'm a comedian. And so my girlfriend, fortunately, is high, so she was laughing too. Otherwise, she would have been like, God damn it, shut the fuck up. It was a fact-finding mission. It's not your time to shine. You know what I mean? But there was one.
Man, is this the kitchen sink or the bathtub?
Yeah. Dude, this was the best joke I told though. Ready? So they're showing us these bathrooms, and one of the bathrooms in one of the guest bedrooms had he goes, "This is a Jack and Jill bathroom." And I'd never heard that term before.
I have not.
And what it means is that the bathroom can be accessed from doors on the 2 adjacent bedrooms. So it serves as a bathroom for those 2 bedrooms, right? And I was like, "What's a Jack and Jill bedroom?" And he explained it. And I was like, "Oh, I thought you meant in some weird nursery rhyme way that it's a gender non-specific bathroom." And he was like, ha ha ha, no. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, frankly, who are you to tell us how we assign the genders? In theory, this is our apartment. And I was like weirdly aggressive about it, and everyone laughed. But everyone was kind of like, whoa, where'd that come from? I'm like, we bought it in this weird fantasy. Meanwhile, you know, they don't even know that we're not fucking buying this.
And we're fucking stoned out of our minds. Dude, that's really funny because that's just the guy who's had enough with like PC culture. He's like, who are you to tell us what genders are in our fucking bathroom in our private apartment that we paid for? They're like, all right, dude, chill. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, little do they know that we're doing this as a way to wait for our table at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So we saw those apartments, and then we went to the final apartment, which was the creme de la creme, on a different site, not part of the construction site. This is a finished apartment. This is the apartment that I had seen. It's been on the market for a while in Portland. If you go on Zillow, you'll find it. You know what I'm talking about. Sickest apartment I've ever seen.
Really?
Maybe not like compared to some like of the apartments I used to tutor in New York City on like the Park.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly in Portland, certainly the nicest apartment that I've ever looked at myself.
Gotcha.
3-bedroom, penthouse apartment, floor to ceiling windows on 2 floors, plus a roof deck on top, overlooking the ocean. You've got ocean views, and just insane. I mean, just an insane apartment, expensive as hell, over 1.5 million. But get this, it's the only apartment in the building. So it's not a residential building. It's owned by like a bank.
Oh,
and the first 2 floors are the offices of the bank.
Weird.
And then you ride the elevator up with like the bank employees, and then you are the only person who has access to the top 3 floors or whatever. And this place, it's so hard to know where I'm at in my life in terms of like, what do I want? Right? Because here's the thing. If New York City is done as we know it, which I don't think it is.
I don't either.
But if it's done for a while, and that if my girlfriend and I are deciding like, hey, you know, let's buy a place in Maine because maybe we want to split the year, spend the summer months up there, whatever it is. I don't know that we want to buy a super sick place in the city of Portland only to 5 to 10 years from now have to buy a house out in the suburbs because, you know, we've got kids and we want to move out there. And maybe this is like this is a weird personal, like long life vision conversation to have. But it's strange to be looking for apartments when you're so uncertain about your future.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is one of the reasons why we have to get high to do it.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's actually really, that de-escalates.
It definitely does.
That's great.
It takes the edge off the immediacy, the reality of it. It turns it into kind of a lark. A fun exercise where we're getting insight, but we're not thinking like, oh God, this is the one, we've got to have it. We have to race to get this, and ignore, you know, the uncertainty of our next year, next 2 years, whatever. So that was the exercise we did, and I really encourage everyone who's in a relationship to go do it. Just make sure you're on the same page with your partner before you do it.
If you like that video, check out our channel where we have way more videos. I just don't know how to do this. This is unbelievable. If you like that video, we have way more videos on our channel. Please like and subscribe. Turn on notifications if you want to know when there are new ones. But if not, check them out, and we appreciate it.
Oops.